I used to give advice by the hour. If someone wanted to pick my brain about how to grow their business without working all the time, I'd say, sure, want to book an hour? Start as $100 here, then $200. And over the years, I noticed something. People kept asking me the same questions over and over. How do I talk about what I do? How do I talk about my offer? Today, I don't give that advice by the hour. Instead, I do it as a one-to-one VIP experience called Package Your Process with the Expert. I'm able to charge thousands of dollars for my time and get great results from my clients. And the difference? Having a signature framework. Package Your Process. It's branded, and it's something I'm known for. I want you to have that magic in your practice. So by the end of this episode, you're going to learn exactly what frameworks are and why pulling out frameworks from your body of work can become your calling card, the source of your entire ecosystem, a lever that helps you pivot, scale, or change what you do for the better. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. Welcome to part 1 of my Find Your Framework series. And today it's all about what frameworks are and why they're worth it for your coaching or consulting practice. Now, in our last episode, I talked about the value of building your body of work. That is starting to collect your ideas, experiences, and intellectual property, the pieces of content that establish you as an authority, as someone that people seek out to work with. Finding and branding your own frameworks, that's the next step in the journey. It's how you take your body of work and turn it into something you can be known for, something people can remember, repeat, and refer. Now, as we're getting started, let's clearly define what a framework is. A framework is a branded, repeatable way of explaining or delivering part of your expertise. It could be a full methodology, a step-by-step system, or even just a memorable phrase, something that helps people get or remember your approach. You might see them in the wild with different names. They might be called a model, a method, a blueprint, a roadmap. When you brand your frameworks, they don't just explain what you do. They become assets, ones you can market, sell, and scale. Magnets that are going to bring you more and more of your favorite clients and opportunities. So, here are 3 big reasons why frameworks are so valuable to create. Frameworks give you authority. When you have a framework, you're not just any coach or consultant. You're the person with that method. It's the difference between I help leaders with conflict and I teach the 4 R's of conflict resolution, a proven system for leading teams through productive conflict. That's an example from one of my clients, Bonnie Artman Fox. She created this methodology on her own, but we've worked together over the years to help her visually brand her practice and talk more clearly about what she does. Rooted in her best-selling book, How Did My Family Get in My Office?, Bonnie created a proprietary framework called the Workplace Family Factor. As part of that system, she created something called the 4 R's of conflict resolution. Each R starts with an R verb. So, for example, one is regard the scar, which means recognize the emotional impact that your family upbringing may be bringing to your conversations at work. Bonnie is one great example of having a framework to make you not just any leadership coach. She's not competing on generic consulting skills. She's offering a proven process, and it positions her as a go-to expert for workplace conflict resolution. Another great example is Stan Phelps. Stan is a globally recognized speaker who has built his entire career and more than 10 books on one metaphor around a goldfish. It all started many years ago when he noticed that a hotel chain would allow kids to borrow a live goldfish to take care of during their stay. He spotted this and thought, this is a perfect example of how little things can make the biggest splash. He started with purple goldfish, which is all about customer experience. But instead of stopping there and building keynotes and a book around purple goldfish, he's created a whole goldfish franchise with everything from purple to pink goldfish for marketing to silver goldfish for leading across generations. I was honored to work with him a couple years ago when he was celebrating his 10th anniversary. And we were looking back at least 10 books that he had written. And together we coined the phrase goldfish growth to summarize all these different directions he had taken from one little fish. Whether it's Bonnie or Stan or even me, I want you to know that authority sells. The clearer and more branded your method, the easier it is for folks to choose you over someone else who does a similar thing to you. The second reason that frameworks are so worth it is that they make you more scalable. A framework gives you a template for transformation. It lets you deliver consistent results without reinventing the wheel for every client. Take my own package or process method. I used to recreate my advice for every client engagement, every VIP day. Now I have a repeatable 4-step process. It allows me to work super efficiently, customize the experience, and get my clients lasting, repeatable results. This very podcast that you're listening to is another example. Back in 2021, I was writing my second book, Establish Yourself, and I had the idea that this book had to make an argument about what I believe. And that got me to think about how could I create a framework that would explain that most marketing folks are teaching you backwards. They're teaching you to over-index on marketing and not care enough about building a great business or a very clear and compelling brand. And so I came up with the Establish Yourself framework. EST, which is an abbreviation for established, but E, S, and T, all steps in a framework. I have a whole episode about the Establish Yourself framework that I will link to in the show notes. The short version of it is embrace your story, shape your business, translate your value. If you do those steps and work in that order, you will take your practice to the next level. My entire book is organized that way, and those are principles that I teach consistently in almost every interaction I have with clients and program participants, and even what I'm talking about on this show. There would be no show if I had not created that original framework. Creating the framework helped me to summarize, define, explain, and teach what I believe enough to write a book. The book became the Establish Yourself Action Club, which is my membership community. It became a keynote. And here we are 3 years later running the show on the Establish Yourself podcast. Now, when you can plug your clients into a method, you are going to save yourself time, get them better results, and make your work easier to scale or delegate later. Last but not least, the right framework gives people the exact words to talk about you when you're not in the room. For this, I love to think of my client, Marcy Rader. She has a framework and an approach called Work Well, Play More. It's the name of her book. And when someone talks about what she does, they don't say it's just about productivity. They say, Marcy helps you work well and play more. Marcy has a new book out, and that has led to a keynote as well. And it's all called Reclaim Your Workday. And so she's doing this process again, where people are going, it's not just, oh, you should check out Marcy. It's like, I just heard this person talk about how I can reclaim my workday, how I can reclaim my time, my energy. We don't think about it this way, but when we really brand and define what we believe and we package it up into a phrase or a system or a model, that is when we become repeatable and referable. I think about Alyssa Olerud with Fearless Media. She just came out with a 60+ page ebook for what she calls her flow framework. And now she is teaching classes on how to implement that. It's not just Alyssa's advice for social media anymore. Now it's specifically her teaching her flow framework. Now, as we're bringing this together today, we've been talking about how frameworks give you authority, make you scalable, and make you referable. All the examples I shared today, they have something in common. They pass what I call the 3R test. A valuable framework is one that people can remember, it sticks in their mind, repeat, they can share it without mangling it, and refer. It's clear enough to be recommended by name. The Workplace Family Factor, the Goldfish series. Package your process. Establish yourself, EST, right? This is the test we want our things to pass. If this has gotten you thinking that maybe you want to make some changes, I have done that over the years. And that's why I really love this notion of frameworks and how flexible they can be. In my book, if you've read it, you may come across a concept called the streamlined service value ladder. I've since realized a better way to talk about that unique concept is what I call now the one client value ladder. And I have a whole podcast episode that gets into this that I can link in the show notes. But the reason I changed it is to better fit the 3R test. Calling it the one client value ladder better describes what it is, which is organizing your offers, your products, your services around one ideal client, just at different levels of emotional and financial readiness. Streamlined service, that was the goal, but you know how people are going to remember it? The one client value ladder. Now, if this is clicking for you and you are ready to work on your frameworks, I have a gift of pulling it out of the ether, taking a look at what you've been creating for your body of work, your marketing, or the work you do with clients, and pulling the stories out. What are those frameworks, models, systems, relationships, even those sticky phrases that might pop out to you? We can take a closer look and help you start building that authority. I offer a free consultation if you're curious to explore what it is like to package your process with me and how you could get started on this framework work. Head to my calendar at greateststorycreative.com/consult to pick a time. I can't wait to talk to you. Now, as we're wrapping up today and looking to next week, I want to just recap this. What is a framework? It is your ideas organized and branded in a way that will make them clear, repeatable, and marketable. They help you build authority and become known for things that are specific. They help you deliver your work more efficiently and consistently. And they make it easier for others to talk about and recommend you and choose you over your competitors. And I bet you already have the raw material for some powerful frameworks already in your business. You're probably using them and teaching them without realizing it, without branding them, without pulling them into that clever acronym, abbreviation, or model. So, in the next episode, I'll introduce you to the framework pyramid, the 3 types of frameworks that are worth having so you can start spotting them in your own work. I'll see you next time. Hey, do you like surprises? The credits are about to roll, but just like a Marvel movie, stick around to the end for something I put in just for you. Thanks for listening to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and if you're enjoying the show, it would mean so much to me if you follow it, leave a quick rating, or share it with a friend. And for free branding resources and more ways to work together, head to greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now here it is, your moment of magic. On a personal note, my husband and I have gone down the rabbit hole with something called family of origin roles, a relationship model developed by Dr. Alexandra Solomon. She has studied how in dysfunctional families, folks tend to play one of 6 roles to help stabilize an unstable family. The roles include the perfect one, the struggling one, the rebel. I did her free quiz. Have listened to all 6 episodes that deep dive into the types. And if you are exploring your childhood and relationships to your family now as an adult, it is so powerful. I am not going to trauma dump on you, but this is something that if you and I had coffee today, I would be like, oh my gosh, have you heard about this? Check out Dr. Alexandra Solomon's Family of Origin Roles quiz and then her podcast series about it from Reimagining Love. I'll put it in the show notes. It is so, so good.